All right, hello and welcome. This is Shauna. This is going to be our combined of our Fit Essentials of both like a basics and an intermediate level. As we move through, I'll be demoing first the more basic level and talking through what you all could do that know the intermediate level. And then as we move through the rounds, I'll be demoing from the intermediate level. But you're always welcome to stick with that basics option as we go through. All right, so if you are using blood flow restriction training, I have my bands on, but I'm going to add air as we get going after our warm up. So if you haven't put them on yet and you want to use them, go ahead and put them on, but go ahead and wait to add air. The only other equipment you need, if you have a TheraBand, I'm going to be using 2 different sizes of a TheraBand today, a little less resistance for some pull-aparts that we're going to do later on, and then a little bit thicker resistance for an option of a bent over row, which if you want to use some weights for a bent over row instead, you're always welcome to do that. And there'll be some options for those of you that don't feel comfortable with a bent over row. All right, with all that said, I'm going to start demoing from a seated position in a chair. If you feel more comfortable to sit on the ground, you're welcome to start on the ground. All right, here we go. All righty. So if you are on the chair, go ahead and come right to the edge of the seat, sitting up nice and tall. And we're just going to start with some simple breathing. Go ahead and bring the palms together in front of your heart as you breathe in through the nose, lift those arms up, try to stretch up out of the spine, and then exhale, spread the hands, open through those fingers, circle through the arms twice more. Breathing in, lift, stretch, wake up the body, breathing out as you circle down. Fantastic. One more time, maybe a nice gentle smile as you breathe in. And relax. Fantastic. Next, a little bit of a side stretch. We're going to be kind of alternating sides here. So just nice and gentle, reaching across your body and alternating. Reach and stretch, elongate through that side body and torso. If you feel comfortable to do so, go ahead and glance up at the hand as you stretch the side. And I have my palm down towards the ground as I'm doing this here. Fantastic. We're going to go one more time each way. Stretch. Reach. Wonderful. Feel free to give a little side to your body as you choose. Fantastic. All right, wrists next. Let's start with making a fist and circle through. Draw those shoulders down out of the ears and taking them back the other way. Fantastic. From here, we're going to take the back of the hands together, call this our inverted prayer. And now with the shoulders drawn down, also draw those elbows down. Stretching out those forearms, get some movement through the wrist, and then normal prayer position, pushing those palms together. And without shrugging your shoulders, try to raise your elbows up slightly. It's hard not to shrug those shoulders up. Beautiful. Go ahead and shake them out. All right, those of you that know the mid-back rotations from hands and knees, you can go ahead and come on to hands and knees. Those of you that are seated in the chair and prefer to stay there, join me here. We're going to bring one hand behind the head, drawing that elbow and shoulder back, get a nice opening through the chest. And now those of you on the ground, either bring your elbow to the opposite elbow, or those of you in the chair, breathing in, elbow towards that opposite thigh, sitting nice and tall, and a nice gentle exhale as you rotate, following your gaze, following your elbow with your gaze, breathing in as you close, and then breathing out as you open. I'm going to take you through 5 from seated. Maybe those of you that already got a head start on me might want to move upwards of 8 on the floor. It's really key to hold that open position. That's where we get the benefit of this movement, allowing our mid-back and our rib cage area to get a little bit more rotation. Really drawing that elbow back to look to get some length in my chest. This might be number 6. I'm going to go one more on this side. And I'm also giving a little overpressure by pushing into my knee with that hand. Very good. If you haven't switched on the floor, go ahead and switch sides. Same idea in the chair. Bowing down just as far as you're comfortable. Exhale as you pivot. Getting that rotation through the head and neck as well. Trying to breathe in through the nose as you close your body, and then gently breathing out through the mouth as you open. Just find a rhythm that works for you. Holding that open position, following the elbow with the eyes, inviting your body to get that rotation. This helps with our shoulder mobility as well. And a lot of times our mid back will get very stiff, that area of the rib cage. And then our body tends to compensate with excessive motion, either in the neck area, your cervical spine, or in your lumbar area, your low back area, your lumbar spine. All right, we'll add in one more here. Then those of you that are on the floor, when you finish, you're welcome to drop into child stretch. Toes together, knees divide, walk those hands out, lower the heart towards the floor. Those of you in the chair will do a seated forward fold to kind of mimic that child's from seated. Chin to the chest, slowly slide the hands down the shins, just as far as your confidence. And now we're gonna breathe into the back of the body and also the sides of the body. Trying to expand your lungs. Maybe 2 more breaths. One more time. On your next inhale, go ahead and make your way out of that stretch. Fantastic. All right, those of you that are wearing the air, go ahead, wearing the bands, go ahead and add air. If you're not using the bands, maybe stand up and go ahead and repeat that side stretch reach while you're waiting for the next portion. All right, so we're just gonna quickly add some air here. These blood flow restriction bands allow our body weight movements and lighter weight movements to create more of a stimulus for your body that's going to mimic heavier or more intense weight training. So they allow our body to release hormones as if we're doing high intensity exercise, which if you've ever done high intensity exercise, you'll know that it's a lot harder on your body to recover from. And sometimes you just don't have heavy enough weights available to really get that hormonal stimulus that you're looking for. Lots of benefits by releasing those hormones. Growth hormone is one of the big ones. Really helps our body to build muscle, to heal, a lot of other things. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stand up here, kind of shake it out. If you haven't stood up and you're sitting down, especially in the chair, go ahead and join me from standing. Our first exercise is going to be either seated on the ground with the band around your feet, doing a seated row, or as mentioned, I'm going to start from the chair. So we're going to be doing 3 rounds, 45 seconds of each movement with about 15 seconds to transition. So I'll be talking you through. So for the first exercise, either from sitting on the ground or in the chair here, go ahead and take the band around either one or both feet. Ensure you're sitting up nice and tall. I like to wrap my hands around. The shorter the band is, the more resistance you're going to receive. And when you're ready, squeezing those elbows back behind you, breathing in, reaching forward, and I'm rotating through my palms. Reach forward and draw everything back and in. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I really like to add a pause to this exercise. So instead of seeing how many reps I can complete during the 45 seconds, instead I focus on nice, slow, and controlled movements, emphasizing this back position because we want to really open through the chest, help strengthen our posture. Building strength in that mid back, help to hold our shoulders back and in. Last one, we're going to go to a mountain climber next and rest. So those of you that are moving on the ground, you can place the hands underneath the shoulders like you're holding the top of a push-up. Otherwise, I'm going to demo from the chair here. Placing the hands down, walking the feet back, midline nice and strong. And then when you're ready, you're going to exhale as you draw your knee towards the same side elbow. Once you know the movement, I invite you to turn your gaze so you're looking right between the hands. And what I don't want to see is any kind of rapid or any movements through the hips. So we want to focus on practicing our stability here. If it doesn't feel right for you to be lifting your legs up and down, I invite you to hold a plank, holding the top of the plank. Otherwise, building some strength in those hip flexors. A little bit of midline work. We have 10 seconds left. Ensure you keep your arms nice and straight here. Fantastic. And rest. Those of you on the floor, the intermediate level, go ahead and lie down. You're going to practice our version of the sit up or sit tall. Those of you that are in the chair, we're going to practice our standing up or standing tall, sit and stand. So as soon as you're ready, you can begin. From the chair, we simply stand up and then control yourself back and down. Those of you on the ground, we're doing some sit-ups. I'll talk about more of the specifics of it. I call them our sit talls because I want you to sit all the way up at the top of that sit-up and not have that like crunched posture at the top. But for right now, we're showing this sit and stand for round one. Squeeze the glutes as you stand all the way up. So I don't want you to stop here. Stack those shoulders over the hips and then controlling yourself down. Less than 10 seconds. Breathing in and pushing your knees out as you sit back and rest. Fantastic. All right, those of you on the floor, you can make your way, shake out the arms, and then you can make your way into a down dog stretch. Those of you here with me, either using a countertop or walk around to the back of your chair. And we're gonna do kind of a little bit of a down dog stretch from standing. It's not quite the same, but it gives some of the similar stretches here, opening through that mid. I'm gonna breathe, come out of the stretch just a little bit. And then as I exhale, I'm gonna draw my belly in to keep that low back neutral, but then guide my heart towards the floor. Those of you working the down dog, you wanna think about guiding your heart towards your thighs. Lift up and lower back. Good job. Those of you in the down dog, you can walk your heels out. Those of you using the standing position here, notice now I've changed up the position of my feet. I'm going to stagger my stance and then lowering that heel down to get a little bit of a calf stretch. Fantastic. That concludes round one. You can go ahead and make your way back to that seated position for round two, and I'm going to make my way down to the floor. Feel free to grab a drink of water. Started here with round two in about 15 seconds. All right. So please feel free, if it's best for you to work from the chair, stay there with the chair. If you're joining me on the floor, 3, 2, 1, seated row with the band. So sitting up nice and tall, elbows draw back. And notice we have some rotation through the forearms and the wrist. So palms down as you reach forward, palms up as you draw back. Breathing in on the forward reach, breathing out as you draw back. And we focused on slow and controlled. You get to choose the intensity of your exercise program. So if you'd like to have a little bit faster reps, you're welcome to start to move a little faster here. We have 10 seconds left. I'm really making a point not to let those shoulders shrug up. So think long head and neck position. And you notice I don't have any kind of like forward motion of the head and neck. Last one and rest. Good job. Mountain climbers next. So remember, you can use that chair to elevate your body, or I'm going to use the mat here. Those of you ever supporting on the hands, spread those fingers nice and wide, midline nice and strong. And here we go. Exhaling, pulling the knee towards that same side elbow, not letting those hips shift around a whole lot. Ensuring that you look to time that exhale with the knee drive. If you get too uncomfortable through the wrists or the hands, it does make it a little bit harder, but you can take the pressure off the wrist by lowering yourself down onto the forearms. You may not have as much room for the knees, or you definitely won't have as much room for the knees. So if it's too much on the wrist, you can come down to the forearms and hold that plank if you can't get those knees up. All right, and taking that rest. Fantastic. Those of you in the chair, you're going to work your sit and stand. Those of you on the ground, let's talk about our sit tall. So we're going to lie back, arms come up to overhead, and even extend those legs or bend the knees. It'll be a little easier. When you're ready, chin in, drive the arms, and now I want you to sit tall, straight up from your sit bones, reaching for your heels. Breathing in, lying back, extend the arms, breathing out, drawing up. In, extend, breathing out, coming up to a tall posture. Pay attention to that lower core. Draw the belly in, pushing your low back into the floor as you pull yourself up. Good. If it ever feels like too much or it's like straining your low back, you can work just the top portion. where you push that low back down, draw your chin in. We call it a curl up, just ever so gently up and down. All right, and take that rest. Next one is our down dog stretch. Or remember on the first round, we went behind the chair and opened up that mid back and then move into that calf stretch. So wide handprint, those of you on the ground, and coming up into our down dog position. Drawing the chin to the chest. And now I rock forward and back, breathing in, rocking forward, breathing out, chin towards the chest and heart towards the thighs. This is our second round. We're going to take it through one more time after this. Go ahead and start to move into that calf stretch next. So standing tall, you'll stagger the feet, lowering the heel towards the ground. And here in down dog, we're just pedaling out those heels. Good job. Switch legs if you haven't from standing. Those of you in down dog, whenever you're ready, feel free to take a break. Those of you on the calf stretch, feel free to come out of it. Go ahead and grab a drink if you'd like. We're going to get started on our third and final round of this circuit here in 15 seconds. So starting with that seated row with the band, whether you're sitting in the chair or on the ground, you can even move the flesh of your glutes up and out of the way. Make sure you're sitting right up on those heels. Band around one or both feet. And here we go. Palms down, arms straight. Rotate those palms up. Breathing in, breathing out. Exhale through the more challenging part of the movement. Watch so we don't start to lose that head and neck posture forward. So chin in, eyes up, looking forward. Wonderful. Building that strong posture. Engaging those muscles for the mid back. 10 seconds left. We've got our mountain climber next. Those of you that would like to increase the challenge of the mountain climber, we'll start to give the option of alternating elbow. So right knee to the left elbow and right knee, the opposite of that. Losing my words here. All right, 10 seconds till we start our mountain climber. So either hands elevated up on the chair or join me on the floor. 2, 1, and begin. So what I was meaning by that alternating is I'm just gently bringing the knee across the body. You have to really be cautious not to give a lot of twist through the hips, but just very gently. I'm still engaging that lower body. Exhaling as I draw the knee up and in. Gonna give it a little bit more challenge that midline. Good solid breathing. If you need to come out of it anytime, just shake it out. Otherwise, you have about 10 seconds left. And next we'll be moving into that sit and stand or sit tall. And 2, 1, transition. Great job. So I'll continue to demo our sit tall. Coming down, lying back. I'm going to go straight legs this time. Extend the arms to overhead. And when you're ready, go ahead and begin. Drawing the stomach in, sitting up nice and tall. Controlling back, strong to move. Those of you doing the sit and stand, make sure you sit down with control, trying to avoid that plop. Nice and tall. We don't need to flex forward, just as far as you can comfortably reach. Breathing in as you lower, out as you sit or stand. Fantastic. Think, how do I want my posture to look in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? How you sit and how you stand is going to influence how your posture develops over time. And take that rest. Nice job. One more time with that overhead stretch behind the chair or using a countertop. And our final time here with our down dog. Spreading those hands out, coming on up. Go ahead and begin when you're ready. Chin to the chest. Lightly pulse that heart towards the thighs. You can come forward a bit more and then back. Focus on your breathing. Trying to open up the back of our rib cage. Big breath in. Long breath out. Go ahead and add the calf stretch. Walking out those heels. Stepping one foot, kind of pushing a little bit into your chair. Feeling the back of that leg loosen up. Switching legs when you're ready from standing. Or those of you in the down dog, let's go ahead and make our way to standing. Kind of inchworm our way up. And slowly come all the way to standing. Fantastic. Loose. All right, let me adjust my screen just a little bit. Feel free to grab a drink of water. We have one more circuit left. You feel like doing a little bit more. First round, I'm not gonna show it with any kind of weights, but if you want to go right into that bent over row, you can use the band. It's gonna be a bent over position, drawing those elbows back and in. On the first round, I'm gonna warm up a little bit more of that hinge with a good morning. But before we get into all that, let's go ahead and just give a little relief in that low back and the hips with some hip circles. Fantastic. Go ahead and circle the other way. Sometimes it feels a little silly to circle through the hips, just smile. And just remember, our body appreciates moving in different directions than we regularly do in everyday life. All righty, so check in with your feet. Toes pointing straight ahead. So no toe out, toes forward, and then check in with your belly. Draw the belly button in so your pelvis is nice and neutral. From here, you can cross the hands over the shoulders or behind the head. I'm going to show from the shoulders. Breathing in, you're going to bow down until you get a stretch in the back of the thighs, or if you're nice and long in the thighs, until your chest gets to about 90 degrees. I don't want you to have any pain in that low back. If you start to overarch, focus more on drawing the stomach in and then squeeze the glutes at the top. We're just going for about 30 seconds on this one. So maybe one more time, breathing in and stand. Excellent. Either down for the floor for a push-up or back to your chair. I'm actually going to be doing elevated push-ups for all 3 rounds of this one. So set the hands. Okay, if you don't feel ready for a push-up, once again, practice that plank. If you're ready for that push-up, here we go. Lowering your heart towards your surface and watching. We don't want to wing those elbows wide. Instead, draw them back and in with just a little space between your torso and your arm. With the cushion, breathing in as you lower. Midline, nice and tight. We don't want those hips to sink down. Control down and then strong push away. Sometimes we'll start to arch the spine as we drive away. Maybe one more time. Squeeze and drive and rest. Wonderful. All right, if you have the band, we're going to go back to the band for our supinated, meaning palms up like you're holding a cup of soup, our pull-aparts. So I'm going to take a nice relaxed grip, feet forward, midline strong, and now I'm simply pulling my band apart to draw my shoulders back. Squeeze those shoulders together. Breathing in, breathing out. I want to make sure I don't push the head forward as I open through the chest. So draw the front of the chin in, keeping your eyes up and forward, and then squeeze the tush. Flex the 10 more. Wonderful. And 2, 1, and shake it out. All right, you're welcome to take a full rest break here. Or our next exercise, and our last exercise is our step jack. Or if you're comfortable with that jumping jack, you're welcome to go into a jumping jack. If you're not comfortable with the feet moving, you can get some nice circles of the arms, touching your index fingers in front of your belly and up to overhead. You can coordinate those feet, stepping out as you reach up, stepping in as you lower down. Good. Get a couple more in here. And this concludes our final circuit, but we're going to repeat these exercises more through. So shake it out. Let's grab a drink. We're going to get started with round 2 here in about 20 seconds. You're welcome to stick with that good morning exercise. If you want to progress it, we're going to hold that bent over position, and I'm going to stand on my band. And then I'm going to use the band to row. So midline drawn in, bowing forward, and here we go. Elbows back and in. So remember, if you're doing the good mornings, you're simply standing tall and bowing down. You can even hold on to these bands when you do the good morning. Or if you remember what we did together on the first round, I had the arms crossed over my chest. 10 seconds left. Keep pulling strong through the belly, strong through the thighs, trying to draw those elbows above the torso and rest. Fantastic. All right, from the good morning to our push-ups or the elevated plank. Place the hands, walk the feet back, and 3, 2, 1. When you're ready, remember to watch that you don't wing the elbows wide, chin in, lead with the heart, not with the head. Even though this is largely an upper body movement and midline movement, squeeze the glutes, flex the thighs, hold nice and strong. Good. 10 seconds left. Heart towards the surface. And I'd like to see that full range of motion, meaning getting your chest all the way down before you progress the movement and rest. How do I progress the movement as I lower my hands closer to the ground? So having a lower surface or coming down to the floor. All right, back to our supinated pull-aparts. Palms up. Either grab your band or you can hold your hands as if you have an imaginary band. Squeeze. Now on this one, we don't want to rotate those shoulders forward. Just drawing them back. Think broad chest. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Close and open. Fantastic. 2, 1, and resting there. We're going to go immediately into our step or jump jacks. So index fingers in front of the body and up and over. Here we go. Stepping it out. I'm going to step for the first half and then see if my body feels up for a little jumping on the second half. Good job. Halfway. Jumping on Moose's tail. 5 seconds left. 2, 1, and take that rest. All right, we're going to do it one more time through. Getting ready for that bent over row first, or as always, that basic option, practicing that good morning. All right, we're going to start here in 10 seconds. So for the bent over row, I'm going to stand on my band, midline neutral, bowing down, and when you're ready, elbows up and back, squeezing through that midline, breathing out as you draw up and in as you reach. Anytime you need a break from that bent over row, simply stand up, give your body that break, and then if you feel up for coming back into that position, we have 10 seconds left. Chin and head nice and neutral, looking down towards your feet. Last one, and rest. Good job. Get ready for your push-ups. Spin my chair around so I can watch that other direction. Set the feet. As soon as you get there, you can begin. Here we go for our 30 seconds here. Breathing in, breathing out. Remember to engage that lower body. Keep those elbows drawing in and lead with your heart, not the head and neck. I call it chicken necky when people kind of push that head and neck forward. Oh, I lost a little bit of track of exactly when we started. We're going to go another 10 seconds. You might get a little extra credit on this round. If you need to, just stop and hold the plank. Woo! And done there. Excellent. Pull-aparts. And then we'll finish with those jump jacks or step jacks. Grabbing your band. Palms up. And 2, 1. Here we go. Just having some light tension through the band. These don't need to be super hard. I want you to focus more on the positions of your body than on how hard you can work on these. Think long neck, shoulders back, not rotating forward. Halfway. Breathe in as you close, breathing out as you open. Wonderful. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Good. If you want a little bit more challenge from the step jacks, but don't feel ready for some jumping, On this last round, you can work your step overs, where you imagine you have a little imaginary hurdle, or if Moose was still on my mat, I could practice stepping over the dog. Good. All right, 20 seconds left. You can continue with the step or the jump jacks. I'm gonna finish it out with some jump jacks. Woo! Good job. Keep breathing strong all the way to the finish here. Fantastic. 3, 2, 1, and all done. Good to give yourself a round of applause. Virtual high fives. Nice work. Let's go ahead and let out that air if you're wearing those bands. Just cool down, stretch to finish. Go ahead and take these bands off. Alrighty, we're gonna stay on our feet for the first part of this cool down stretch. I'm gonna swing the computer around, and I'm just gonna be using this fireplace that's behind us. If you have a doorway, a tree, anything you can kind of anchor your arm against, that's gonna work great. Let's see if we can get a decent position here. I did not actually check this beforehand. Let's see how it works out. Alrighty, so I'm gonna bring my elbow up to about 90 degrees, about shoulder height. There we go. Place the arm against the wall of the doorway. I'm using the fireplace here. Inside leg steps forward. Lean forward with your heart. And now we're looking to open through the chest. So I'm going to reach my opposite arm out, pivot away, turn the head and neck. And let's breathe here about 5 times. In through the nose, out through the mouth. If you feel that muscle start to open, you can rotate a bit more. When you're ready, come out of that side and make your way to the other side. Not the best lighting here. Elbow about 90 degrees. Anchor it down. Sink into it. And now I'm rotating away. Just getting a nice stretch in my forearm. Excuse me, in my chest. Turning the head and neck. About 3 to 5 breaths. And typically I'm more anchored against the wall, standing, but just anything to help open up the front of this chest. Rotate through the head and neck as well. And releasing there. Fantastic. All right, let's get you into a little bit better lighting here. We're going to bring it back around, and we're going to do our behind the back stretch next. So walk your feet nice and wide, anchor down to those legs, draw the belly in, and then bring the hands together behind you. Extending those elbows, squeeze the shoulders back. And this is a fantastic exercise just right here at this position. Anytime that you've been sitting for a while, you can stand up, pull those arms behind you and really open up the front of that chest. If you're up for going deeper into this stretch, I'm gonna really make a point to root down into my legs. And now I'll focus on that long spine. Arms come up and over the torso. Let the head be a little heavy. Get some length in that neck from gravity. And now breathe, as always, into the back. On your next inhale, go ahead and come on up to standing. Wonderful. All right, we're going to go through one more stretch together. Open up the front of the hips and looking to add a tricep stretch as well. If you want to mirror me, I'm going to show it from standing. Those of you that might remember and know the kneeling version, you're welcome to come down to a kneeling version as well. So your left leg is going to step back. If you're going to do the kneeling version, you'll bring that left knee down to the ground. Belly draws in, raising that same arm, your left arm up, chin in. And now we're going to bend the elbow. I'm going to show you from the side. I'd like to get a little shift of the hips forward. Eyes up. I'm going to pull my elbow back. And then only if you feel comfortable, if you're feeling a nice strong stretch here, just stay there. If you want to go a little bit deeper, bend to the side. Breathing in, breathing out on the bend. Chin in, make sure you don't overextend your neck. And then on the last one, if you want to add a little rotation, I'm going to look up past your left elbow and release. Fantastic. Shake it out. Walking that back leg in. We're coming up out of your kneeling position, and now we'll switch sides. Same thing, second side. Your right leg comes back, ribs down. Your right arm reaches up, chin in, bending that elbow. When we shift to the side, we want to get that hip shift. Make sure your front shin is vertical. I don't want it to be too narrow and have that knee shooting forward. So have a long enough length of your stance, reaching up as you feel ready, and then gently with the option to bend to the side. Chin in, eyes up. And I feel this when I add that side bend, it kind of comes all the way down through my torso, really gets that side body as well. Add the rotation if you choose on this one. Looking up past that elbow. This is tough, so be patient with yourself. If it's too much, don't get too hard on yourself. And release. Fantastic. Walk that back leg in and shake out those arms. Go ahead and shake that whole body. Shake and move, shake and shift. See what feels good. All right, let's go ahead and finish as we started, this time from standing. Simply gonna breathe in, palms in front of the chest. And then when you're ready for that next breath in, into the nose, raise the arms up. Out. Twice more. Breathe in some love. Release it out to the world. Fantastic. And then last one, let's think about the feeling of peace. It's peace and harmony for yourself and all. All right, friends. Thank you so much for taking the time and moving with me today. Try to make sure that this is not the only time that you do specific stretches and movements. Start to learn to listen to your body. If you're feeling stiff somewhere, that's usually your body talking to you, asking for a little bit more movement. You know, there are exceptions to that. Sometimes we have too much movement in some area and we need to work on some stability. But oftentimes, if it's our shoulders, even if it's our necks, just need a little bit of some gentle movement. So practice listening to your body. I was thought maybe we were going to hear some elk in the distance. It's the rut right now. So we've been hearing some nice elk sounds up here in Payson, Arizona. All right, that's all for today. Remember to stay hydrated and we'll move with you next time.